So this is our last day in Rishikesh. We've been here for a little over 3 weeks and have a taxi coming at 9 o'clock tonight. We're making our way over to the Beetle's ashram now. We've been in like what's called Upper Tapovan until now, which is where kind of the yoga schools are. And it's a little different than actually being in the city of Rishikesh. It's been a great experience. Like, it took me a while to get used to the culture and crowds, and like, you know, there's like not personal protections here if you are hiking up a trail and there's not a handrail on the side and you fall off, like it's your fault for falling off. It's not somebody else's fault for not having a handrail on the side. So we were supposed to fly home in 2 days, but life plans kind of changed and I'm not going back to the same life that I had before. So if there's no garden and no woman and no life to go back to, then why not just stay in India? I mean, it's probably cheaper to actually live here than it is to even go home and live like normal life, driving a car around and fixing things and taking on projects. So we'll see what happens. We're going to Delhi tonight, and it is an absolutely beautiful day. It's been raining some and the temperature cooled off. We went from like 98 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, which is 38 degrees Celsius, to today it's about 90, which for us is normal because at home right now it's well into the hundreds. Like, it's been topping 110 some days. Turisto, the white boy. Look at that. He had all these muscles coming and he's lost 15 pounds eating veggies and doing yoga every day. Beautiful. How much?
140 rupees. 2 coconut.
Okay. So we entered the tiger reserve, which apparently is where Maharishi is. 150 for Indians, 600 for foreigners, which, you know, if you convert it, it's like $8. So all I've got to leave behind in this country is money. So that's what I can do. And I get to enjoy their culture. So this is Maharishi, where the Beatles hung out at some point and wrote a big part of the White Album. And there's like, you know, it's abandoned and dilapidated, but there's artwork all over the walls. And this is kind of cool. And in the States, like, you'd see all kinds of like gruesome stuff, like die or beep, 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 or like suck my beep. But in here, like, it's all about, well, there's no love on this wall. Freed. In this back corner, you've got hearts saying, I love you. Freed, and the sign. Hare Krishna. Like strawberry fields forever. All right, so this is like the first building. Believe in yourself. This is the first building and we're moving to the next one. There's like these, I was messing with Jason, like, that he found his playhouse on the side of the hill, but they really are like, this is the bottom story, you got your bookshelf here, the bathroom, hole in the floor, and then there's steps. They're kind of sketchy. They're just like concrete sticking out of the wall. And then you come out in here. And this is like your meditation room. And like a gnome, you pop out the door. Where's Jason? Now I'm stuck. Meditation caves. These structures were constructed from 76 to 78 to accommodate sannyasas and brahmacharyas for practicing their sadhana. The round stones used in them were taken from the shores of the Ganga. Langoons. They're like baboons. They got the red butt. Maharishi Mahesh. So I was like involved with Transcendental Meditation, which is where this whole area comes in. And I just asked a guy inside, like, what happened? Why was it abandoned? And it turns out that, so the meditation huts were built in like 76, 78, something like that. And it was built on national park land. And in 81 or 83, the Indian government changed the rules for national park land, and you could no longer run a business, I think a for-profit business, on parkland, which essentially forced them to shut this down. And he had so many other ashrams around the world, it wasn't a big deal. So now it's the abandoned Beatles ashram and the tiger reserve. Hope we don't get eaten by a tiger. There's some pretty crazy stuff on YouTube, like people getting drug out of cars. I'm not too worried about it. I'm faster than the slowest person. That's all that really counts. Look, I found some American graffiti. Love in the heart of man is a shrine to God on earth. Maharishi and the Beatles. I don't even know what Transcendental Meditation really is. Like, it's hard to get anyone to even explain Transcendental Meditation. I guess you have to, like, have been there to know what it, like, how it works. So we have a new topic to research. So this is like at the back of the property. It's like the accommodations where the Beatles stayed. No, swastika does not mean what it means to us in the West. It's a sign of hospitality and good fortune when you enter a home. So I'm guessing that it's famous being the Beatles ashram. And I'm guessing the Beatles were already famous at that point because it's like hidden at the back of the property, so they would have been separated from all the other guests. I mean, I think there could have been like up to 500 residents here at any given time. And what's funny is this place is giant, and I was curious, like, what was Maharishi's net worth when he died? And it was estimated to be like 60,000 crore. A crore, C-R-O-R-E, is 10 million rupees. So like, he led a whole lot of people to find peace in their life, but he also like made a whole lot of money in the process. But they say if you do what you're passionate about, then the money will come. That was like the whole message in a really great movie called The Three Idiots that came from Bollywood. So I think it was like one of the highest grossing movies in India. I highly suggest watching it even with subtitles, and especially like having been in engineering school for the last like 3 years, there's some really funny idioms in it. Like the opening scene is about how they spent, like NASA spent, or some space agency spent millions of dollars trying to invent a pen that'll write in a zero gravity environment. And then the student, like that's kind of the star of the movie, raises his hand and says, well, why don't we just use a pencil? That's a joke you hear in school. Ha ha ha. Okay, this is the back of the property. It's beautiful up here. But it's time to get back to the city. Oh, human emotions. We all need the same thing. We feel the same way. And then we move on. These were like housing for teachers. I said we were going back to Rishikesh, but I lost Jason. I think he went to the roof. I don't know how to get there. I kind of stopped shooting video after we walked through like the teacher housing, but one of the most interesting and extremely weird places were like the meditation chambers that were underground. So near the back of the property, there's like a big room with a stage up front where like a guru could stand up front and guide everybody, and you have a whole floor like of people seated, listening and hanging on to their wise words. And then there's 2 tunnels that go from either side, and there's 82 meditation chambers, which are little, like 84 meditation chambers. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna say jail cells, but they kind of look like it. And they're about 8 foot by 8 foot, something like that, made out of rock with a small window at the top. So I guess you would go in there and get pumped up from your guru and then go sit in your room and do whatever you did, or like whatever other weird stuff that could happen at a transcendental meditation retreat. We walked through there and it was like, those little caves and that meeting space are what hit me as the most significant part of visiting the ashram. And from there we headed back down the hill and hit the streets again.